Hello, how you guys doing? Hope you having a good day. Well, I want to make a positive video and give you a history. Shout out to this channel, commentator channel about black grocery stores, and give you the history and logistics. And I'm gonna show you what there's a few places today that have a few black grocery stores. So maybe since it being a food desert in some cities and little towns, maybe this might get the motivations. Maybe someone can use a platform to have sponsors online to open up a grocery store and get the whatever it needs to take to run a grocery store, get the logistics on how to be part of the food chain system throughout America, so people can combat these prices. But think and maybe can some of the food deserts can be just get the good quality of life of food like in your urban or your rural areas. But here it is.
Felt like the warmth, the pride, the belonging. They fed more than families. They held whole neighborhoods together. When those doors closed, what piece of us went with them? Corner grocers on the block were more than places to buy food. They were the pulse of the neighborhood. Usually tucked between a barber shop and a row of homes, these stores stood as steady reminders of what could be built through work and faith. The owners often lived right upstairs, waking before dawn to restock shelves and sweep the walk. Kids stopped by for snacks on their way to school, and elders lingered to share the day's news. Before chain supermarkets swept through cities, these family-run stores knew everyone by name and remembered every story. When a family was struggling, the grocer would quietly slip in a discount or wait for the next payday. It was not just business. It was a relationship built over years of mutual trust. The sound of the doorbell, the smell of bread, and the hum of a radio behind the counter became a rhythm of daily life. For many black families, this was where dignity lived, in owning your space and serving your people. Storefront signs and hand-painted prices told their own story before anyone even stepped inside. Bright colors in red, yellow, or blue invited passers-by to stop, while steady brushstrokes spelled out words of care and pride. It was not unusual to see the owner's name painted right above the door because reputation mattered. Each letter and number reflected hours of attention, and some stores even hired local artists to make the windows pop. The smell of paint mixed with sawdust and sunlight gave a sense of authenticity that no printed banner could match. The hand-painted signs showed which vegetables were in season, how much the flour cost, or what meat was fresh that day. People trusted the writing more than they trusted the newspapers. Our cost.
Also, will be a good idea is that you can hire young people who who understand the neighborhood, who understand the people, who really have a good reputation, and really it shows them how to be entrepreneurs in a black business. And this is where young people can learn and how to make an honest dollar and work for somebody in the shop, to work at a grocery store, because it benefits you and it benefits the quality of life, and interact with the people and things that you have that connection with through faith and church, and just people in general in the neighborhood. People like somebody be like in your own family reunion. Just that's just a suggestion.
Trusted the writing more than they trusted the newspapers. There was something honest in a chalkboard that changed with the morning weather or the arrival of a new shipment. These storefronts spoke before anyone ever said a word, announcing not just what was for sale, but who you were buying from and why it mattered. The smell of fresh collard greens and salted pork filled the aisles long before you reached the counter. It mixed with the earthy scent of potatoes, the sweet hint of ripe bananas, and the smoky flavor of hams hanging by twine in the back. Each grocery store had its own signature smell, one that told customers what kind of love was being sold that day. You could walk down the street and know which shop was open just by the scent drifting from the door. Collard greens came in bundles, still dusted with the soil of nearby farms, and salted pork slabs were cut by hand on wooden blocks worn smooth with time. The air was thick with history, a blend of southern roots and northern survival. To some, it smelled like Sunday dinner. To others, it smelled like home after a long shift. Those scents were promises that no matter how hard the world outside got, there was still comfort waiting in a paper bag with your name on it. Penny candy counters were the heartbeat of childhood. Behind the glass, mountains of gumdrops, licorice, and peppermint sticks gleamed like treasures. Kids pressed their noses to the case, clutching a few coins in sticky palms, already dreaming of the flavors they would choose. The grocer's smile was patient. They had seen it all before. The indecision, the joy, the laughter that followed the smallest purchase. A single penny could buy a few minutes of happiness, and that was something every child understood. These counters weren't just about sugar. They were about freedom, choice, and belonging. The candies often came from local makers, wrapped in wax paper and love. Parents let their children walk there alone, knowing the store was safe ground. It was a place where lessons in money, manners, and trust unfolded naturally. When the kids grew up, they could still remember the smell of sweet syrup and the clink of glass jars, proof that even the smallest things could leave a big mark on the soul. Credit books and trust-based sales kept entire communities alive when times were thin. The grocer wrote names, not numbers, and everyone's word was as good as cash. Some weeks were tight, paychecks delayed, rent due, and meals stretched thin, but the store never turned families away. You might leave with flour, milk, and collards, promising to settle the bill next Friday. And you did, because that promise mattered. The book sat behind the counter, worn from use, with pages full of loyalty and quiet grace. There was no shame in owing, only gratitude in being remembered. In a world that often demanded proof, here your face was enough. These small acts of faith tied people together, proving that an economy built on trust was stronger than any system that tried to divide them. To buy on credit here was not to be in debt. It was to belong, to be seen, to be part of something larger than survival. Black-owned brands and local suppliers filled the shelves with pride. You might see jars of honey from a neighbor's bees or a flour mill just a few towns over. Owning your product meant owning your story, and these stores told it with every label. Bottles carried the names of families who had started businesses against impossible odds, printing their legacy in ink. Shoppers reached for those items first, not just for what they were, but for what they represented: independence, creativity, and progress. Every stocked shelf was a quiet rebellion against exclusion, a reminder that Black enterprise could thrive even without the...
This is LinkedIn Recruiter, a hiring tool that helps you hire smarter and faster with over 1 billion.
That Black enterprise could thrive even without the approval of outsiders. The grocers knew their suppliers by name and often traded over handshakes and shared meals. Those partnerships were the backbone of the neighborhood economy. When customers bought these products, they weren't only feeding their families, they were sustaining a dream that belonged to everyone. The icebox and soda cooler stood like beacons in the heat of summer. Tall, metal, and humming softly, they were the coldest thing in the room, and the most tempting. Kids crowded around them,
Welcome
peering
back
at glass
to official
bottles of
Black
cola,
Wall Street,
grape, and orange
the
soda
largest
arranged in
award-winning
neat
platform.
rows. You would drop a few coins in the slot, slide one out, and hear that satisfying hiss as the cap popped free. The first sip was always magic, a burst of sweetness and fizz that cut through the afternoon sun. For many, that small joy was a kind of reward after long hours of school or work. The icebox was also a gathering point, where laughter, teasing, and storytelling came easy. It wasn't just about the drink, it was about sharing that cool moment together. Decades later, people could still recall the taste, the chill, and the sound of those bottles clinking like a melody from a simpler time. The neighborhood bulletin board was the social media of its day. Tacked up with flyers, handwritten notes, and church announcements, it captured everything that mattered to the people who passed through. One day there might be a poster for a gospel concert, the next for a voter registration drive or a missing cat. Store owners gave up wall space near the register for this living mural of community life. The paper edges curled with age, but the words stayed powerful. Through those notes, neighbors found work, parents found babysitters, and musicians found audiences. The board was updated by hand, pinned and unpinned with care. Every scrap of paper spoke of connection, a quiet record of joy, need, and hope. In an era before cell phones and screens, the bulletin board was how a neighborhood kept its heartbeat steady. It was not decoration. It was proof that people were looking out.
The mission and vision of Black and Forth is the idea of going back. For me, that's the notion that we need to bring as many people along on our journey as possible, said Angel Gregoria.
Oh, I'm very proud. Black owned, black business coming up. We have to support them. This is our community. It's what we make of it, and the community is coming back in waves. It makes me cry.
The only black-owned grocery store in the city of Detroit has officially opened its doors with the mission to make the hood healthy again.
Welcome back to Official Black Wall Street, the largest award-winning platform connecting you to the best in black-owned products and services. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel so you never miss out on any of our content.
Well, Detroit native had a unique idea to increase access to fresh food in his community.
Now, food insecurity is a real concern. The Detroit Food Policy Council says in 2021, 69% of Detroit homes were considered food insecure.
Huge concern, and 7 Action News reporter Kira Hay takes us to the city's newest grocery store, hoping to change that.
The only black-owned grocery store in the city of Detroit has officially opened its doors with the mission to make the hood healthy again. Welcome to Neighborhood Grocery, a liquor store turned health food stop sitting on the corner of Essex and Manistee in Detroit's Jefferson Chalmers neighborhood.
1724.
Helping customers and stocking shelves with fresh produce and organic fare, a 6-year labor of love for owner Raphael Wright. 7 Action News first spoke to the entrepreneur in 2021. His store, just a shell, but his drive and vision unyielding.
To build a community, you have to have healthy food and healthy access to healthy food. So the start is in grocery stores. There'll be shelving here, and it'll be shelving lining up this way.
What does it see now seeing customers come in?
I feel good. You know, we knew this was gonna happen, so now it's time to maintain and keep it going.
Lucky for Wright, the community is buying in. Miss Rita grew up in this neighborhood, her family living here 4 decades and witnessing the many changes, this time for the better.
I'm real happy because it's a grocery store instead of a beer and wine store. Sunday, we always need an onion, a tomato, or some seasoning. So it's good to come back in the neighborhood and support it.
The neighborhood store embodies its name, people in the community having a say in what's on the shelves, and their names a part of the decor. Inclusion, health, and education a part of Wright's mission.
I'm from the neighborhoods that I work in, and I want to make them better. They were good at one point, and I want to bring back that glory.
What I loved about your interaction, you just sound so proud.
Oh, I'm very proud. Black owned, black business coming up. We have to support them. This is our community. It's what we make of it, and the community is coming back in waves. It makes me cry.
As always, let us know your thoughts below. Don't forget that it's always a good time to buy black. Head to
Very, very true. And it's the reason why. So, to legit, get a good idea of what you're looking forward to. But because that's very important to have in grocery stores in your own community. Like I said, you can employ your own and have an online business. Like you can meet, other black people in different cities and states maybe they got some kind of make some kind of deal where you can put their product on your shelf, and it can work out for the best, you know. Or you can have your own. But check this out. I was just watching. Well, let's see this. But those who have the dream of owning a black business, probably wonder, well, where are we gonna get the funding at? Okay, I'm about to show you that.
Also, the Galaxy of Stars grant supports women and minority entrepreneurs, including a $2,450 Galaxy Grant giveaway and a Dream Business Bundle worth over $23,000 in cash and business services. Finally, the 1 Million Black Businesses Initiative aims to help black-owned small businesses launch and grow by providing access to workshops, mentorship, and assistance with securing capital. Note, always verify details on the official grant websites. To improve your chances of securing these grants, thoroughly research eligibility criteria. Ensure your business aligns with the grant's focus and requirements. Craft a compelling business plan. Clearly articulate your business vision, mission, and financial projections. Emphasize how your business contributes positively to the community. A well-prepared application showcases your business's potential and professionalism. Navigating the myriad of grant opportunities can be overwhelming. Enter grantfunds.com, the largest and most comprehensive funding database in the USA. Why choose grantfunds.com? It offers an expansive database with thousands of grant opportunities tailored to various business needs. Plus, it has intuitive search tools to find grants that align with your business objectives. With clear summaries, you can quickly assess each grant's relevance. Leverage grantfunds.com to streamline your search and focus on crafting winning applications. Empowering your black-owned business with the right funding is within reach. Here's your action plan. First, explore the grants mentioned. Visit their official websites to understand application details and deadlines. Second, prepare diligently. Utilize the tips provided to enhance your application quality. Third, leverage grantfunds.com. Simplify your grant search and stay updated on the latest opportunities tailored for black entrepreneurs. Stay committed and take proactive steps toward achieving your business aspirations. For more insights and resources, subscribe to our channel and stay tuned for future updates. Wishing you success on your entrepreneurial journey.
So, that's one of the things that you can look into.
With AI, you can create any character you want in seconds.
This used to require huge Hollywood
Welcome back to Official Black Wall Street, the largest award-winning platform connecting you to the best in black-owned products and services. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit that bell icon so you never miss out on any of our content. In 2015, Angel Gregorio, a Howard University alum, founded the Spice Suite, which quickly evolved into more than just a boutique for selling her own specialty spices. Named DC's Small Business of the Year in 2018 by Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes Norton, the Spice Suite became a space for black women entrepreneurs, or other, quote, Spice Girls, to sell their products. Hosting over 2,000 free pop-up shops for black women business owners, Gregorio leveraged the Spice Suite to also host masterclasses for the Spice Girls, in which she taught the fundamentals of business. Committed to supporting fellow black women entrepreneurs, when Angel decided to relocate her shop, she chose to bet on black, keeping black women in mind. In December 2021, with a $1 million investment and a mission to uplift, she purchased a 7,500 square foot commercial property in Washington, D.C. After a year of remodeling, the lot was transformed into the first ever black-owned and operated mini strip mall, with refurbished shipping containers as commercial units. Rooted in the each one teach one principle, Angel opened Black and Forth. The mission and vision of Black and Forth is the idea of going back and forth with Black people. For me, that's the notion that we need to bring as many people along on our journey as possible, said Angel Gregorio. Amidst the rising rent prices in cities such as DC, Angel's initiative offers affordable, below-market rent where Black entrepreneurs can thrive. In addition to providing business owners with accessible education, Black and Forth also hosts bi-weekly farmers markets that features all Black vendors, including Mid-Atlantic region farmers and food artisans. Located at 2201 Channing Street in Washington, D.C., Black and Forth is home to 5 businesses, including the Spice Suite. More than a marketplace, it's a community-driven movement for economic empowerment and support for Black entrepreneurs. As always, let us know your thoughts about this story and this major accomplishment in the comments below. One thing remains true, as you can see, it is always a good time to buy Black. Head to obws.com where you can discover thousands of Black-owned products and services you can shop today.
I was just watching something here. So you get the logistic company. Now you need a logistic company. So as you was watching this, check this out.
America having profited nearly.
So you get your Black grocery store, you get your Black funding, your Black grocery store, and then you have a Black trucking company you can deliver your product. And here's a black man.
All right, brothers and family, welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hope you guys have a great and exceptional day. It's been a while since I've been able to really, really had the opportunity to talk about Black-owned businesses, family. You know, life is happening on a daily/regular basis, and these videos usually do not get the views/likes and comments that they actually truly deserve. So from this point, I'm only going to be making these kinds of videos twice a month at the most, and at the least once a month. So let's get down to the nitty-gritty, family. Today, I'm going to talk about a successful Black-owned trucking company who Pierre Laguerre is the founder of Fleeting Trucking Company. The article stated that this is the fastest-growing trucking companies in the United States of America, having profited nearly $4 million within just 3 years since it started. Mr. Laguerre, who is from Haiti, moved to the United States when he was 15 years old. Back then, he dreamed of becoming a neurologist, but he decided not to pursue it. And before I go on, this can happen to most people when it comes to figuring out what they want to do with their lives, especially when you're young, because you know what you don't know. So, and no matter how old you get, you'll have an opportunity to learn something new until the day we die. Stories about people who were in their 40s and 50s who end up making big life changes when it comes to their careers or business structures. It's a beautiful thing. So I have to commend Mr. Laguerre and anyone else who are making great life-changing situations happen, not just talking about it, not just thinking about it, but putting it into action, putting it into motion. The article also stated that eventually he learned about trucking, which he said served as his escape. For 12 years, he worked as a truck driver and operator, and that's when he saw some issues such as lack of transparency between truck owners and drivers. In 2018, he founded Fleeting, a platform that connects shippers, truck owners, and drivers with hopes to bring solutions. And this is how it's supposed to be done, family. Most people start businesses based off of how much money they can get, but not having the experience in order to become successful within that business or particular industry. Mr. Laguerre started as a worker. Then he saw an area where he could help make things run a lot more efficient and created a successful business all at the same time, family. Now, that's what I call voting with your dollars. The article stated that since the company Fleeting has been helping revolutionize the trucking industry using technology,
The company also aims to address a shortage of truck drivers and offers training for the formerly incarcerated and underprivileged people, men or women, to get a commercial driver's license. And they, as a company/organization, should be commended for helping the underprivileged/underserved and formerly incarcerated members of our society. Because the people who come home from prison who want a second chance to become a better person, a better citizen, productive member of society, should at least have the opportunity to do that. The article ended on this note saying that most recently, the company Fleeting has received a seed round of investments of $500,000 from Kyrie Irving, NBA superstar and founder of a new consulting firm, KAI 11 Consulting and Lockstep Ventures. So all I can say is keep up the great work, and I got to give Kyrie Irving credit because he knows that he's going to have a career or as a successful investment/business after basketball. The reason why we're still talking about people like Michael Jordan, Shaquille O'Neal, and Kobe Bryant was alive. We're still talking about him in a positive manner, and various others, because they were smart investors and smart business people. They knew that they weren't going to be able to play basketball forever, and they had to make their money now, and then they made the money moves of creating other businesses and investing in other businesses as a venture capitalist. And that's why I always say you make money moves, so you're going to live broke like a fool. And clearly they're not living broke like fools. Mr. Laguerre, I wish you nothing but success in your current and future endeavors. All right, don't forget to check out There's Anything Goes online store. Get your Make Money Moves apparel and all that great stuff. Go from there.
So, yeah, that's powerful. So there you have it there. You have a trucking company and a black trucking company. I just saw this. Did you know? Shout out to Black History. I always get this, but I'm about to show you this video by Black History that black people always had their own shipping place.
Across the docks lies a story that has almost been erased. A story about ambition, grit, and the sheer will to conquer an industry that was never meant to welcome black ownership. It is a tale so vast that it challenges our understanding of economic history, maritime trade, and the African diaspora's fight for self-determination. For decades, the narrative of global shipping has been dominated by images of wealthy European merchants, New England trading families, and sprawling corporate fleets bearing the names of white magnates. Yet in the shadow of these colossal names, there once sailed an empire of its own, run entirely by black entrepreneurs, navigators, and financiers, a shipping company that grew so large, so efficient, and so daring that it drew admiration from allies and resentment from those who could not imagine such power resting in black hands. It was the largest black-owned shipping company in history, and its rise was as breathtaking as its disappearance was deliberate. The roots of this company trace back to the late 19th and early 20th centuries, when the United States and the Caribbean were undergoing dramatic shifts in trade and politics. At that time, shipping was the artery of the world economy. Whoever controlled ships controlled the movement of goods, wealth, and ultimately influence. For formerly enslaved people and their descendants, access to such a market was not only rare, it was intentionally blocked. Ports, shipyards, and maritime unions often enforced segregation. Black sailors could work as deckhands but rarely as captains, and ownership of vessels was almost unheard of. And yet, in this climate of exclusion, a man named Frederick Douglass Patterson, himself the descendant of a family deeply involved in post-emancipation black business networks, began quietly buying old cargo ships at auction. He was not alone. In cities like New Orleans, Charleston, and Kingston, there were pockets of black dockworkers and entrepreneurs pooling resources to escape dependency on white-owned shipping firms. Patterson, unlike many, saw the potential for something bigger than one or two ships. He envisioned a fleet, one that could connect black farmers in the American South to markets in the Caribbean and West Africa, bypassing discriminatory middlemen entirely. This vision resonated with the goals of the burgeoning Pan-African movement, which emphasized self-reliance and global economic ties between people of African descent. It was not just about trade, it was about liberation through commerce. By 1910, Patterson's company, which became informally known as the Black Star Line years before Marcus Garvey's organization adopted the same name, had expanded to a small but notable network of steamships. Unlike Garvey's later venture, which became mired in financial troubles and targeted by the U.S. government, Patterson's operation was more quietly run, operating under a web of corporate aliases to avoid attracting hostile attention. His ships carried cotton, tobacco, and sugar from black-owned farms and mills, and in return brought coffee, rum, and tropical fruits from the Caribbean. He also secured deals with African merchants along the Gold Coast, modern-day Ghana, creating one of the earliest sustained trade connections between African-American businessmen and African exporters. The company's growth was nothing short of remarkable. By the early 1920s, it was operating more than a dozen ships and had established offices in New York, Havana, Port-au-Prince, and Lagos. It became a symbol of black economic might, proving that African-descended people could compete at the highest levels of global commerce. But that success did not come without enemies. White-owned shipping conglomerates, some of which had ties to banks and insurance companies that once financed the transatlantic slave trade, saw Patterson's growing fleet as a threat to their monopoly. They began pressuring port authorities to deny the company docking rights, raising insurance rates for its ships, and spreading rumors about the safety and legitimacy of its operations. By the mid-1920s, federal agencies had also taken notice.
Let this soft mineral melt in your mouth to rebuild your gums and teeth and never need a dentist.
You know, as I listen to this is some of the dirty hand stuff that they will do. But there's, like I said, back then it was worse. But there's, like I said, when there's always a will, there's always a way. And the reason why I made this video is because there are other ethnic groups that do this among each other. The Asians do it. The different Arabic-speaking people do it. And who do they hire? They hire their own. They do business on their own. Different Asian groups do it. South Asians, they do it. Everybody does this. Black people. And they hire their own. And they're not going to hire you. Some of them won't hire you. They hire a white person probably. But the reason why you have to create your own, and I'm just giving you what they've done over a period of time. And that's the only way we can sustain as a people. This economy is about the human race. Everything, that's why they call it the human race. Because everybody's race to keep what's in there, to get tapped into a capital market to do for their own. No one's gonna play friend. No one wants to be friends and be friends with you. They want you to buy off of them, but they're not gonna be friends with you. They're not gonna tell you the insights on how to do this. You know, so I hope this plants some ideas. If you're a black women or black men out there that's considering going to business, and look the customers, look how many entrepreneurs out there that's doing it. And all you have to do is build, and that's one good thing about social media and black platforms. If you use it like that, you can both help each other out and employ each other out. Because most people, when you see these small companies that do stuff like this, and I've seen some of us employ more other people than they do our own people. But it's good to help out the people in your community, because your community of young men and young women are unemployed. And maybe while they're being employed, they might teach them to train them to be a better business person. Yeah, that's what all these other groups do when they come to America. And they build up a commerce back home in their countries. But it tells you the history of it. But someone's doing it right now. I'm going to show you in a minute. Roland Martin got this person doing it right now.
Houston, Tiffany, how you doing?
so explain this. What is Ship Black? What's the deal?
Hey, Ship Black is geared towards helping Black-owned e-commerce businesses ship their items. We price with them, we pack, and we ship. So we're providing this fulfillment service for our e-commerce businesses.
So, okay, what you're saying, I have pocket squares that we sell. And so what you're saying is that do you have the supplies at your location when somebody orders, then you fulfill that order?
Yes. So what we do is we integrate with their store, whether they're on Shopify, Wix, Square. We integrate with that. When the orders come in, we actually pack them at our facility and ship them out.
So you're not doing shipping. You're doing shipping and fulfilling.
Oh yeah, we're fulfillment. Yes, we're fulfillment.
See, the reason this is big is because like I'll tell you when we first started, it was like I had them and I was sitting there having to get the order and then get the order, go in, get the product, put it in the envelope, put the slip in it, take it to the post office, mail a whole deal, and it was like, okay, well, dang, I forgot sometimes, and so what you're talking about is if Mustafa has a product, Xavier had a product, about other products, so you're saying we have a facility, a warehouse, all the goods are stored here. If you got books, whatever, you don't have to worry about that. Y'all handle it.
We handle everything. We're designed for the entrepreneur to be hands off. So we have the product. The product can come straight from China to our facilities. When the orders come in, we actually pack them and ship them. We take care of the customer service piece. We take care of insurance claims, returns. We take care of everything for the e-commerce business owners.
Wow.
And people just don't understand the value in that. The value of saving themselves.
Oh my God! Look, I raised my hand, Mustafa. I don't know about you, but my Lord, if to be able to say, yo, y'all got it, I'm just gonna see them promote it. Y'all take care of the rest of that stuff. That is a major deal for a lot of small businesses who are not trying to go back and forth to the post office and gotta go buy envelopes and all that stuff. I think you're on mute. I can't hear you. What's up? Are you back? Now we got you. Yeah, now we got you. Mustafa, you got a question?
Well, first of all, this is amazing having a one-stop shop. I remember all the products I used to have in my garage and trying to get it all moving and everything. A question that many owners may have sometimes is there any products that are too large or too small for your business, or do you handle everyone in between?
Right now, we're not handling things that's too large because of space restrictions. But we handle everything as small as jewelry pieces. And then we go all the way to, I think our biggest product right now, we have grills for the front of cars. So I have a vendor, he does like Cadillac grills. And so that's the biggest that we're doing right now. But we house that at our facility. Like I said, we take care of all of the packing and shipping needs. When the pandemic happened, the e-commerce businesses grew over 30%. Shopify put out a report, which is the #1 marketplace for e-commerce businesses, that they grew 86% from 2020 until now. But 89% of those were Black-owned businesses, mainly Black-owned women businesses. And so you have all of these individuals coming to the marketplace, but they don't actually know a lot about the packing and shipping piece. And so my background, I have 20 years of experience. I was a previous postmaster with the United States Postal Service, but I cut my teeth there. I started at the bottom and moved all the way up. And so I know all of the packing and shipping and the logistics piece. My husband brings in the transportation piece. And so that's what we have at Ship Black. We're really trying to provide a service and let our Black community know that they have the same abilities as their counterparts. A lot of the other businesses are growing and scaling, and we wonder, how are they doing that? They're doing that because they're not working. They're not cutting their own yard, okay? They're hiring somebody to do it for them. And so, a lot of celebrities try to make fulfillment look glamorous. Oh, we got orders all over our living room. You're cutting your own yard. you're doing your own hair, you're being your own barber. You know, you're handling these things that should be outsourced by experts, and you're trying to do it yourself. In order to scale, you need to turn that over and let a professional company do it for you and handle things that way. And especially getting into large e-commerce platforms like Target, Ulta Beauty, different things, they want you to have a fulfillment center. They're not going to accept your product coming from your living room. You have to have a fulfillment center to be able to take care of certain capabilities.
How do you get paid? Is it a percentage of the price of the product? How does that work?
Yeah, we get paid for fulfillment. So fulfillment for each order going out. So we get paid for fulfillment and then storage.
All right. And so if folks want to reach you, how can they do so?
They can reach us at shipblack.com. Follow us on Instagram, ShipBlackCo, on all social media platforms. We're here to educate. We have something called Ship Black University, where if individuals don't want us to handle their products, we still can educate them on that shipping piece just to make sure that they are successful.
All right, then. Well, look, we certainly appreciate it. Great job.
Wow. So there you have it right there. You have your own shipping company. You see the history. In the present time, black people always may do what they do as far as business. And like I said, you have other people that's doing the same thing from all walks of life that have their own business. So why can't you? And see, when you do your own, you can employ your own in your own community. You know, because that's what's lacking. You know, you have to create something to create employment for other people, and that's what she's done, and many people have done. And I think that's what's going to be the major thing, you know, for black men and black women as far as, you know, being unemployed, but having something on the side that can sustain an income for. But this is just something to consider. And you know how, and you go to any community throughout America, that's how they do, majority of them do business among each other. They have their own language. They have their own, they know each other from, you know, family, from back home in whatever part of the world. They might go to the same organizations, religious institution, church, mosque, whatever, temples, whatever, and that's what they do. And you know that they form some kind of business of alliance with each other. And they can speak, and then they can speak their native tongue. So, and this is what's around in the black community. The same folks, you go in their convenience stores, that's what in the convenience businesses, or whether it is now tire shops or whatever. Majority of people that they deal with look like them. Majority that some of the people that deal with them sometimes are white, but sometimes they speak their language. And that's the truth. And why can't black people enjoy the same thing, do the same thing it's in your community? Because when you benefit, you uplift and get some young people and show them some business skills so they can do it on their own. A lot of young entrepreneurs, to create their own t-shirt business. I've seen young men that do that, trying to be that lifestyle and do music and everything. But why don't they show them about this part of the business so they don't have to go out there and try to get that fast money? Get it caught up in that fast money is going to get you locked up, whatever. But do it the legal way. There's ways of doing stuff if you want to make some money. But anything about it, and that's what probably like Nipsey Hussle, that's what he was trying to do out there in California. He wanted to go back to the hood and help his own people. That's what was the sad part why he got, because even though he did that kind of rough lifestyle, was in the gang and everything, but when he turned his life around, he saw that it was something bigger, that this is what his homies needed. They needed to know Cody. They need to know, the young black youth need to know what's going on, because they all, you first hired, but what is it? You first fired and last hired. You know what I mean? So this should motivate you to want to do something. And some of you have the talent as black men and black women. and black women to do it. But when you're spending your money, your dollar, and these other groups know that you spending, they're aware about black Americans, even in the hood, spending that kind of money. And they making off like a rat. You helping that store owner and the business to stay open, but they're not hiring your people. Now I'm showing you the blueprint. So you hire someone that look like you and then interact with you. Hopefully and the one thing we got to learn to respect one another in business too. How we deal with each other, and so we can just keep up with other people. We can survive this economy. And it goes to show you, they did it back in the 1900s during the pit of segregation and Jim Crow racism and all that. We can do it in our time. So I hope you take some information from this video, but shout out to all the businesses and stuff and that are like this. But you can do it, black men, black women. You can do it. You got the brains. You know, it's just time to have someone. And that's how the reason why most of these people, because even though they can speak English, but they can speak their native language, but they feel comfortable in their own place. And that's any group of people you see. That's what they do. You know, buddy, but look who's working for them. Look who's making the money. Who's out there with your pastor out there in them fancy neighborhoods. So why can't you enjoy some of that money? Why can't you enjoy the downtown economy? And like I said, capital is all money. I'm not saying that, and this is not about hating somebody, being jealous and listening to somebody. It's like, why can't you get on the same thing, business wavelength as other people and enjoy the money? It's like, you know, what beauty and hair shops like when it comes to black women. The Koreans came in the Koreans, these other people came in market, and that's not even their natural hair. They selling your hair. That hair that they don't put on their own head. That's for the women. Ain't that something? God didn't put that texture hair only. You know your texture hair as black men and black women, but you got another group of people doing it. That's what they were trying to show you years ago. But black women, and unfortunately some of them in the lower neighborhoods, they don't support the black women that, and some black men that probably have a beauty store. But you give it, and then these other people undercut you. The Chinese or the Koreans, whoever it is, they undercut you. That's why I say you have to do it wisely on how you do business. And maybe you have to do it underground, do it online. And that you know the texture of your hair. And that's what I was saying. Some of these people, you don't know where they get the hair from. You don't. Some people can get up with somebody that grandmother was a witch or something like that. You don't know where that hair coming from. And they pray over it, like they do in India. Some places in India and other places in South America. Be careful. Because whatever you put on your scalp, it goes into your head. That's just for the women. But as black people, here's the solution. You have to see each other as human beings and work with each other as human beings and see each other as equal, not as a byproduct like these other people do. You have to respect one another. You must be proud of one another. And I hope one day that Africans and Caribbeans and other people who share the same complexion and put all the animosity and jealousy aside, and some of us too, and kind of work together. Because with these other nationalities and some of these other people, some of them like you, but some of them ain't going to hire you. Some of them ain't going to do business with you. They want your business, but they don't want to be business with you. They want you to prosper. They want to prosper off of you. So remember that. As long as you make their pockets fat, that's all what matters. Why can't you both have your pockets being fat? Just something to think about. Not about hatred, just truth. So that's the message out of this video. That's why, why is it black owned? Well, I asked with the people who say that, why is it other people, even though they don't call themselves Asian owned, but you see it, they might be Latino, native born. Don't you see Latinos owning restaurants and food trucks? Don't you see South Asians owning laundromats, franchises, Subways, Dunkin', Mr. Donuts, hotels? No one says nothing to them. Why can't black people have their own? There are white people that have their own savage yards or whatever, some shearing business. No one says nothing to them. Why can't black people have their own business? They have a manufacturing company. Majority of them hire white machinists that look like them. Factory companies look like them. That's why they move out there in the rural areas. You won't know that, but they do. Oh, they can be equal, but what if they're a black machinist? So what's wrong with black, to the people like, what's wrong with black owned? You know that's out there. There are people who are mixed in with Turkish, Palestinians, and Lebanese, and Iraqis, and Egyptians running businesses, just logistic businesses. No one ask them. So why can't black people have their own business? I just showed you the example right there. So when black people do something black owned, it's discrimination, but yet you see these other groups of people having it. And we know in the United States, throughout the United States, they're in little towns, little areas, running gas stations, running logistics for their own. It's business. So that's why, and they're not going to employ blacks because they think black people are still, or don't lazy, don't want to work. Some people don't. That's why it should be black-owned business, because the obsession, the perception, an obsession to perception that they don't want to do something. See, it's not just black and white. There's other people too. That's why we have, say, black-owned business, just in case. Why they got called black-owned business? That's why. They don't want to hire us. They can't stand the obvious of us, the stereotyping. Some people have the stereotype as soon as they see us, so they cloud their judgment because they think, I see those guys, they take stuff on, I see them still on TV. I see where they come from. They don't have to say that to you, they display it to you. They don't think you see right through it. So that's why some black people say black-owned business. And black people aware of this say, well, why don't we just have our own? And you raise our own capital and do our own thing. Why? Well, it's not. No, that's not discrimination. Because you got to accuse black people that you got to accuse these other people doing the same thing. Because they're doing the exact same thing. Even though they're not calling themselves they particular grand brute, but we see what they do. I don't care if it's running a landscaping company, a construction company, or whatever. You see it. What the heck with everybody? Ask the young black man that applied for the job. Alright then, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you like and subscribe, and hey, get your business, get your entrepreneur on. Be led by the Spirit. I wish you out there well, those who start the business. See the information, hope you copy, like, share, and subscribe. And hope you get some ideas and It's time. We're gonna make it in 25, 26. Let's turn this thing around. Take care. Be blessed.